Hey guys, it's COREROSS and welcome to 6 News. So here is everything you need to know about the changes to ranked that are coming next season and next year. We're also going to split this video into two sections. The first part I'm going to date, which is December 2025. And these changes are coming into effect with Operation Tenfold Pursuit, which will launch on December 2nd. And that means any video made before that point about how Rank 2.0 works is now incorrect, because all of them are going to say your visual rank does not matter. It does now matter. And then the second section of this video is going to talk about the changes to ranked coming in year 11, which effectively are going to be completely overhauling the ranked system entirely. So let's jump into how Rank 2.0 works right now. And that is that you have a hidden skill rating. That skill rating is what is used to matchmake against other players. So we can see it in this example image here. We have a player with a hidden skill rating. They then begin to matchmake, and the system will find people with a similar skill rating that they then play against. And the skill rating itself is calculated using Microsoft's true skill algorithm. This means if I win a game, my hidden skill rating will go up. If I lose a game, my hidden skill rating will go down. But how much it goes up and down is also based on the enemy team's skill rating as well. So if I beat a high skill team, I get more skill in return. And this means every other factor in the game, like kill to death ratio, have no impact on your skill rating unless they're helping you to actually win the game. And this is all hidden behind the scenes. And then visually, you see a rank progression that starts from copper and works its way up. And that progress will stop when you achieve a similar rank to your hidden skill. And this means that you can be in a game where your teammates and your enemies can be in all different ranks, but behind the scenes, they all have a similar skill rating. And that skill rating doesn't mean it's accurate either, because it's just wins and losses. It could just be you playing a 5-stack and win a lot, whereas a solo player might be losing a lot just because they're not coordinating with their teammates. So now let's go over how it's changing as of December of 2025. So again, we start with a player with a hidden skill rating. The system goes off and it finds similar players with similar skill ratings. But now there is an additional filter that is applied at this point, and that is the visual rank similarities. So it will now narrow down that list of players to just the people with a similar visual rank. And that of course means that if you are in a visual rank of gold and you matchmake in ranked, it should be that the majority of your teammates and enemies should also be in gold. If you are in visual rank of copper, then most of your teammates and enemies should also be in copper. However, this is not the only new filter to add into the matchmaking. A second one is that of squad size. However, we know a lot less about this filter. So for instance, we don't know how strict it's going to be. Will it always try to match solos with solos? Or is solos and duos fine? Is solos and trios fine? What happens if you have 4 players in a squad? So you do need a solo to make the game work. Like, how is it going to be calculating all that out? And how often will you actually be in your solo games with a bunch of other solos? And essentially we have zero information on that filter itself. Maybe we'll get more in the future, but right now we know there will be some sort of matchmaking element that will try and put similar sized squads together. And then there is a third change, and I went back and I rewatched the reveal, I reread the patch notes, and this one I think might be getting misrepresented. And that is in the reveal, they said that in squads, it will take the max rank of that squad into consideration. In the patch notes, it said squads of mixed rank will take skill and the max rank of the squad into consideration. And I think a lot of people have taken that as being the highest skill player in that squad will be the one that's matchmaked off. However, the way it was said and the way it's written makes me think that actually it's the highest visual rank of the squad, and the skill is still kind of a calculation of the entire squad. That's how I take it anyway, because it's a little bit too vague, especially in the reveal. He's very clear about what is visual and hidden rank. And then when he talks about a squad, he talks about visual rank and he doesn't mention the skill at all. So let's move on to a conclusion now for the first part of this video, which is all to do with these changes coming in December with Operation Tenfold Pursuit. There is good and bad here. So first of all, the underlying system stays the same with additional filters put on top. This is going to have a negative effect. So first of all, matchmaking should take longer because you have a smaller pool of players to play against. So matchmaking should take longer. However, I expect if you're sitting there for 5 minutes, it'll probably start ignoring these filters and putting you against players to get you into a game instead of having you waiting too long. There's also the potential here that you keep playing the same players over and over again because they're in the same skill rating and the same visual rank, and they're effectively the only people you can keep getting put up against. So that could be a downside too. And there's also the risk that this is simply a placebo because it is the same system working in the background with just simply a filter saying, hey, let's have this player see the same visual rank that they're playing against so they don't think the game is unbalanced or bad matchmaking. And the thing is, I think that placebo will work. But then the squad-based matchmaking changes here, that's the one that can make a significant impact. Again, positive and negative. For solo players, this should be a buff because you'll go up against less squads, which means you should be able to win more games than usual, which means a higher rank at the end of the day. But if you play in a full squad, then effectively you're getting nerfed because you're going to go up against more full squads and less uncoordinated solos, which means you should end up losing more games than usual, resulting in a lower than normal rank. And then you always do have to worry about exploits. So for instance, it might be the perfect middle ground here is a 3-stack. That might get you into the solo queues, but of course you've got that coordination in a trio that can be very powerful. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out in the long term. And of course, it might also make not that much difference overall to the point of where people are just simply happier seeing their same visual rank. They might not really feel that much of a difference with how many games they lose and win, and there might not be that much change in overall rank positioning as well. Now, although I believe this will have a positive placebo effect when it comes to seeing the same ranks on your team and the enemy team, do remember that people can still squad up as a 5-stack with very different visual ranks. So you're still going to see games, even in the new season, where you have coppers against champions. Now let's move on to the second part of this video, and it is the changes to ranked coming in year 11. And the developers are calling this a ranked overhaul. Right now, I'm essentially going to call it ranked 3.0. And most of the details have not been announced yet. However, we do have a bunch of stuff that has now been revealed, so let's go over all of it. First of all, every season and mid-season, they're going to be changing up the ranked map rotations. So you might know in ranked right now, there's a very good chance you end up playing a lot of the same maps over and over again. And they're looking to do away with that issue, but also change the map pool, not just at the start of the season, but during the mid-season. So the ranked experience will actually change during the mid-season patch. And then they're also adding in a new ranked playlist. This will also be activated at the mid-season. And this is a suggestion I put forward. I don't know if they took my feedback on this and went with it, or someone else probably made the same suggestion at some point. But it's called, right now, and this is a code name, they're calling it Top of the Ladder. And what this means is if you are a champion at the middle of the season, you will unlock this special playlist, and then you can go and you can play in a hyper competitive cream of the crop playlist where it is the best of the best, fighting it out for some sort of fancy top spot. Probably a whole new rank will be achievable here. And I made this suggestion back in the day because I said it'd be kind of nice if we actually just got the champions out of the rank playlist and had them go off and do something. Because that's one of the main complaints. Like, as you're playing, let's say, an emerald player, and you're trying to get higher in rank, and you keep fighting champion after champion, it's like, oh, it's annoying. Kind of cool if those champions went and played something else so that you could continue your way up the ladder. But it also gives the best of the best something else to do. Because of course, streamers who play this game all the time, they hit champion in a couple of days. The hardcore players, they'll hit champion within a couple of weeks. And really, what do you do next? Like, you've already achieved the top rank in the game. You've done it, right? What do you go on to do next? So adding in a top of the ladder playlist partway through the season, I think could be quite cool. The problem is, of course, do you actually have enough players to fill that playlist? And I do love the idea, even though I will never play in this playlist, because I play tons of different games. Siege is just one of many games I play, and I'm usually topping out at like gold, sometimes even silver, in my ranked playthroughs. And I hope to never be in those top lobbies in my entire Siege career. Now, there is a little bonus, by the way, if you're able to achieve this top of the ladder playlist, so getting into champion by mid-season. And that is something that I think a lot of players in Rainbow Six Siege, including myself, would like to be able to see. And that is your hidden skill rating, right? This has been the major contention of Rank 2.0. You cannot see your skill rating. Well, the top of the ladder playlist, which is for the best of the best, the bonus of this playlist is you will see your skill rating. So if you're a player who's always wanted to see their skill rating in rank 2.0, all you need to do is hit champion by the middle of a season in year 11, and you will be able to see your hidden skill rating. So that means that, and right now this is what it sits at, 0.4% of people who play ranked get to champion. So they will be able to see their skill ratings, but no one else will be able to. But the thing is, because they're at the top in the 0.5%, we kind of already know what their skill ratings are, so it doesn't really matter. And it's very much that thing where a lot of people are saying this now, which is that Siege will take away a feature, and then like 2 years later, they'll add it back in, and they'll be like, hey, look at this new content. It's like, wait a minute, we had that like 2 years ago. And that brings us to the conclusion of the second section of this video. And basically, year 11 is definitely going to have a ranked overhaul, but I don't think it's going to change how people may want it to. It's still going to have your hidden skill rating. It's still going to kind of work the same way at the back end, you know, the foundation of it. And to me, it still has the foundation of rank 1.0 with other stuff built on top of it. So the visual rank, the different filters for different, you know, squad sizes and stuff now, and visual ranks and stuff like that. But the backbone of it is still kind of all the same. And even with the overhaul, I'm not really expecting to just come in and suddenly fix all the issues people have with it. And for me, I'm really interested in how these initial changes for Operation Tenfold Pursuit will change the overall matchmaking, because I'm curious how those different filters are going to work and how kind of strict they'll be. And that will then give me an idea of how I think year 11 will end up going. And always remember, they can easily make it worse rather than better. So we will see going into the next season and onwards if indeed they can make a rank system that people enjoy. Because I think right now, I'd guess the majority of players don't like rank 2.0. And hopefully, whatever 3.0 ends up being will be majority loved. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.